Hello, everybody. Dave Kilgore back here with you to work through study session 18 on the 2021 International Residential Code. So, in this study session, we're going to go over the chapters 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. They're all pretty short chapters. Those are based on lighting distribution, devices, and lighting fixtures, appliance installation, and swimming pools. So, our objective today is to gain an understanding of the provisions regulating wiring methods, power and lighting distribution, devices and lighting fixtures, appliance installation, and swimming pools. Again, our references today: the 2021 International Residential Code, chapters 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. Our key points for the day: how are electrical cables to be installed, where they are run in attics across the top of structural members? Where are they run parallel to framing members? How must they be protected from physical damage? What are the minimum cover requirements for direct bury cable or raceways installed underground? How are direct bury cables to be protected from damage where emerging from the ground? How must the backfill be placed in excavation containing electrical cables or raceways? What method is used to determine the minimum spacing requirements for convenience receptacles, and what wall spaces are to be considered? How are floor receptacles to be regulated? Where are small appliance receptacles regulated, and how many receptacles must be provided, and how must they be distributed? In what manner are counter receptacles to be located, and how do the provisions differ for island counter spaces? How about for peninsula counter spaces? How many wall receptacles are required in a bathroom? How about outdoors, in laundry areas, or in basements and garages, as well as hallways? Where is ground fault circuit interrupter protection mandated? In what locations are arc fault circuit interrupter protection mandated? In what rooms and spaces must wall switch controlled lighting outlets be installed? And under what conditions are wall switch controlled receptacles permitted as an alternate to lighting outlets? How is non-metallic sheath cable to be installed in non-metallic boxes? What is the minimum required depth of such boxes? How is box volume and fill calculated? And how are boxes to be installed? How are luminaires to be installed in wet or damp locations, in bathtub or shower areas, or in clothes closets? What are the limits for supporting luminaires by the screw shell of the lamp holder, by an outlet box, and what clearances are required between the recessed luminaire and thermal insulation, as well as other combustible material? How is track lighting to be installed, and where is track lighting prohibited? Where shall receptacle outlets be located in relationship to a pool, spa, or hot tub? And which receptacles require ground fault circuit interrupter protection? How are luminaires, lighting outlets, and ceiling suspended paddle fans regulated? What part of a swimming pool, spa, or hot tub must be bonded? And what are the acceptable bonding methods? Which equipment must be grounded? And how is pool equipment regulated? All right, jumping in here. Section E 3801.2. The allowable wiring methods for electrical installation shall be those listed in Table E 3801.2. Single conductors shall be used only where part of one of the recognized wiring methods listed in Table E 3801.2. As used in the IRC, abbreviations of the wiring method types shall be indicated in Table E 3801.2. So single insulated conductors are not permitted as a wiring method without being part of a cable assembly or installed in tubing or conduit. In many older houses, a wiring method known as knob and tube was used, consisting of single insulated conductors supported in free air on porcelain insulators and were run through a wood framing member and installed through insulating tubes. Where remodeling, retrofitting, or repair is being done in such a house, the transition to new wiring should be to cable. Typically, cabling in that it's called Romex. You're going to hear that terminology a lot as well. These are the different types of cables and tubes, conduit. In many older houses, the wiring is still sound and in good shape. And also that includes knob and tube. Some of that is still in pretty good shape. But when additions or extensions are made, the possibility for arcing, bad connections, heating, and overloading come into play. Thus, one of the allowing wiring methods must be utilized. Section E3802.1, above ground installation requirements. Wiring methods shall be installed and supported in accordance with Table E3802.1. A number of different installation conditions are addressed in an effort to protect the support various wiring methods permitted by the code. For NM cable, non-metallic cable, such as Romex, and other materials subject to damage, the installation procedures address the common situation of cable within stud cavities. If the cable is run parallel along the side of the stud or furring strip, it must be located at least 1¼ inches from the stud edge, or otherwise physically protected. The same minimum dimension is necessary where cable is run perpendicular to the vertical framing members through bored holes. Where the mandated depth is not provided, it is common to install a minimum 1/16 inch steel plate across the stud edge. So this table, it gives you just some requirements based on the information in these boxes here, what type of cable can be used and gone with that type of requirements. So a concern in accessible attics is the presence of cables that may be subject to contact and potential physical damage. The code requires protection for these cables, particularly where they are located within 6 feet of the attic access opening. Sections E3803.1 and E3803.3 for underground installation requirements. Direct buried cable or raceways shall be installed in accordance with the minimum cover requirements of Table E3803.1. Direct buried conductors and cables emerging from the ground shall be protected by enclosures or raceways extending from the minimum cover distance below grade required by Section 3803.1 to a point at least 8 feet above finished grade. In no case shall the protection be required to exceed 18 inches below finished grade. So to protect cables or raceways buried below the ground level from damage, the code establishes a minimum depth for burial. The burial depth is dependent upon 2 factors: the location or method of the burial and the type of wiring method. Where direct buried conductors and cables are permitted, they must be protected from below ground level to a point high enough that physical damage is improbable. So depending on where your location is and what type of installation you are doing, whether it's direct buried, rigid metal conduit, non-metallic raceways such as PVC, residential branch circuits, and irrigation control. These are your burial depths based on where it is. So the backfill used to cover cables or raceways must be placed in such a manner as to avoid damage to the wiring method. It may be necessary to use boards, sleeves, granular material, or other suitable methods to protect the raceway or cable from physical damage. Section E 3901.2. In every kitchen, family room, dining room, living room, parlor, library, den, sunroom, bedroom, recreation room, or similar room or area of dwelling units, receptacle outlets shall be installed so that no point measured horizontally along the floor line of any wall space is more than 6 feet from a receptacle outlet. A wall space shall include 1. Any space that is 2 feet or more in width, including space measured around corners and that is unbroken along the floor line by doorways and similar openings, fireplaces, and fixed cabinets. 2. The space occupied by fixed panels in exterior wall, excluding sliding panels. And 3. The space created by fixed room dividers such as railings and freestanding bar-type counters. Receptacle outlets and floors shall not be counted as part of the required number of receptacle outlets except where located within 18 inches of the wall. So the maximum spacing between convenience receptacles is basically 12 feet. If you've heard the terminology of 6-12 rule, it's 6 feet from an opening, 12 feet from there. That's gets you within 6 feet of a receptacle, no matter where you are on that wall. So the maximum spacing between convenience receptacles is basically 12 feet, allowing flexibility in the placement of electric appliances without the need of any extension cord. Those spaces that are subject to the requirement tend to be habitable spaces, those areas of dwelling used for living, sleeping, dining, or cooking. So as we said, so here's your doorway. So within 6 feet, you've got a receptacle. Within 12 feet, a receptacle. And then within 6 feet of this opening. Since this is a 2-foot wall right here, fixed panel, it's not a wall space, but it is a fixed panel. They've installed a floor receptacle within 18 inches of the wall. That counts as the wall space. And then again, 6 feet, 12 feet, 12 feet, 6 feet. If the wall space is at least 2 feet wide, it must be provided with a receptacle outlet. It is not acceptable to measure across a doorway or similar opening for compliance with the 6-foot rule. An extension cord across a door opening is a considerable hazard. All right, section E 3901.4, receptacle outlets. So in kitchens, pantries, breakfast rooms, dining rooms, and similar areas of dwelling units, receptacle outlets for countertop and work surfaces that are 12 inches or wider shall be installed at each wall countertop and work surface that is 12 inches or wider. Receptacle outlets shall be installed so that no point along the wall line is more than 24 inches measured horizontally from a receptacle outlet in that space. So you can see the exception for outlets on a wall directly behind a range or sink. Required receptacle outlets shall be located in one or more of the following: 1, on or above, but not more than 20 inches above the countertop or work surface. 2, receptacle outlet assemblies listed for the use in countertops or work surfaces shall be permitted. And 3, not more than 12 inches below the countertop or work surface. So receptacle outlets are mandated in a repetitive fashion along kitchen counter for both safety and convenience, with a number of appliances potentially in use at the same time. And because they are likely to be moved to a number of different positions, it's important that access to multiple receptacles be provided. If an island counter space exceeds a specified size, it too must be provided with at least one receptacle outlet. The same holds true for peninsula counter spaces of similar dimensions. Appliance cords pose an obvious problem when extended through work areas or traffic paths. Sections PE 3901.6 and E 3901.10 for receptacle outlets. At least one wall receptacle outlet shall be installed in bathrooms and such outlets shall be located within 36 inches of the outside edge of each lavatory basin. Not less than one receptacle outlet that is readily accessible from grade level and located not more than 6 feet 6 inches above grade shall be installed outdoors at the front and back of each dwelling unit, having direct access to grade level. Not less than one receptacle outlet shall be installed in areas designated for the installation of laundry equipment. Not less than one receptacle outlet, in addition to any provided for specific equipment, shall be installed in each separate unfinished portion of a basement. Hallways 10 feet or more in length shall have at least one receptacle outlet. So in addition to habitable spaces, these spaces typically defined as not habitable also require a limited number of receptacle outlets. Although the number of outlets mandated may be fewer than required for habitable rooms, it is important that outlets be provided to serve any equipment or activity that is anticipated for the space. Heating, air conditioning, or refrigeration equipment other than evaporative coolers shall be provided with a convenience outlet installed within 25 feet of the equipment to be used during maintenance or repair activities. The outlet must be located on the same level as the equipment. GFCI protection. Sections E3902.1 and E3902.7. So 125 volt through 250 volt receptacles installed in bathrooms, garages, grade level portions of unfinished accessory buildings used for storage or work areas, outdoors, in a crawl space at or below grade, and basements shall have ground fault circuit interrupter protection. See the exceptions. 125 volt through 250 volt receptacles that serve kitchen countertop surfaces, and all 125 volt through 250 volt receptacles that are located within 6 feet of the outside edge of a sink shall have ground fault circuit interrupter protection for personnel. Where there is an unbalance between the ungrounded hot conductor and the grounded neutral conductor, the purpose of a ground fault circuit interrupter is to trip the circuit off. Where the unbalance is caused by human contact, this trip prevents serious injury or death. So the purpose of GFCI is to recognize the unbalanced load and shut off the circuit, but it does not reduce the magnitude of the ground fault current. A very strong but brief shock is still encountered by a person during the time period the GFCI device needs to recognize the unbalance and trip. Section E3905.3, boxes, conduit bodies, and fittings. So non-metallic boxes shall be used only with cabled wiring methods with entirely non-metallic sheaths, flexible cords, and non-metallic raceways. See the exceptions for special bonding conditions. Where non-metallic sheath cable is used, the cable assembly, including the sheath, shall extend into the box not less than 1/4 of an inch through a non-metallic sheath cable knockout opening. Wiring method shall be secured to the boxes except where non-metallic sheath cable is used with boxes not larger than nominal size of 2 1/4 inches by 4 inches, mounted in walls or ceilings, and where the cable is fastened within 8 inches of the box measured along the sheath, and where the sheath extends through a cable knockout not less than 1 inch, securing the cable to the box shall not be required. To provide adequate insulation for the conductors up and into the box, the sheathing must extend into the box a limited distance. This has to be at least 1/4 of an inch inside that box. It is important that boxes located in potentially wet or damp locations be installed in such a manner as to prevent the entry and accumulation of moisture. Where installed in such areas, the boxes must be listed for use in wet locations. Section E 4003.11 Fixtures. Cord-connected luminaires, chain, cable, or cord-suspended luminaires, lighting track, pendants, and ceiling-supported ceiling fans, paddle fans, shall not have any parts located within a zone measured 3 feet horizontally and 8 feet vertically from the top of a bathtub rim or shower stall threshold. The zone is all-encompassing and includes the zone directly over the tub or shower. Luminaires within the actual outside dimension of the tub or shower to a height of 8 feet vertically from the top of the bathtub rim or shower threshold shall be marked for damp locations, and where subject to shower spray shall be marked for wet locations. In most homes, a bathroom ceiling is not high enough to permit any fixture other than a surface-mounted or recessed-type fixture above a bathtub or shower. Fixtures such as chain hung or pendant types where cord is exposed above a bathtub or shower could be a safety hazard, and there is more of a danger of electrocution when water is present. Specific luminaires are prohibited in the tub and shower zone. Other types, such as those that are surface mounted, are acceptable when marked for damp locations. A listing marking the allowed use of the luminaire in a wet location is mandated where the luminaire will be subject to shower spray. Sections E 4003.12 Fixtures. The types of luminaires installed in closed closets shall be limited to surface-mounted or recessed incandescent or LED luminaires with completely enclosed light sources, surface-mounted or recessed fluorescent luminaires, and surface-mounted fluorescent or LED luminaires identified as suitable for installation within the closet storage area. Incandescent luminaires with open or partially enclosed lamps and pendant luminaires or lamp holders shall be prohibited. The minimum clearance between luminaires installed in closed closets and the nearest point of a closet storage area shall be as follows. See the 5 methods for providing complying clearances. It's quite possible that a closed closet is the most common place in a house where a light source will be located adjacent to combustible materials. Therefore, various clearances are set forth based on the type of luminaire installed. So enclosed type luminaires, 12 inches. So you've got your shelf here all the way to the ceiling. So that 12-inch clearance is all the way to the ceiling. Surface mounted fluorescent can be within 6 inches of that shelf. And so can a recessed light with a fully enclosed lens can be within 6 inches. But if it's a surface mounted incandescent light, it has to be a minimum of 12 inches from the shelf area. It is impossible to fully regulate the use of a space once the dwelling unit is occupied. Therefore, the code defines for its purposes the extent of a storage space. It is bounded by the sides and back of the closet walls and extends to a height of 6 feet or the highest clothes hanging rod. So this is your storage area. Fixture installation, sections 4004.4, 4004.5, and 4004.8. Luminaires and lamp holders shall be securely supported. A luminaire that weighs more than 6 pounds or exceeds 16 inches in any dimension shall not be supported by the screw shell of a lamp holder. In accordance with section E3905.6.2, for outlets used exclusively for light, such boxes shall be capable of supporting a luminaire weighing up to 50 pounds. A luminaire that weighs more than 50 pounds shall be supported independently of the outlet box unless the outlet box is listed and marked on the interior of the box to indicate the maximum weight that the box is permitted to support. A recessed luminaire that is not identified for contact with insulation shall have all recessed parts spaced at least 1/2 inch from combustible materials. Lamp holders and luminaires should only be carried by the lamp holder screw shell when they are of limited weight. The screw shell is not designed as a supporting element beyond supporting a bulb and simple shade and diffuser. Where the luminaire exceeds 50 pounds, such as a large chandelier or similar decorative element, it cannot be adequately supported by an outlet box. Therefore, it is necessary to provide an independent means of support, typically addressed in the luminaire's installation instructions. Sections E4104.6 and E3905.8. Ceiling suspended fans, paddle fans, ceiling fans, shall be supported independently of an outlet box or by a listed outlet box or outlet box system identified for the use and installed in accordance with section E3905.8, or by a listed outlet box system, a listed locking support and mounting receptacle, and a compatible factory installed attachment fitting. Outlet boxes and outlet box systems should use as the sole support of ceiling suspended fans shall be marked by their manufacturer as suitable for this purpose and shall not support ceiling suspended fans that weigh more than 70 pounds. For outlet boxes and outlet box systems designed to support ceiling suspended fans that weigh more than 35 pounds, the required marking shall include the maximum weight to be supported. Ceiling fans can produce a potentially hazardous condition if not installed correctly. The combination of fan weight and movement of the fan creates a condition that is specifically addressed by the code. It is important to consider both the weight of the fan and any light fixture or other accessory when determining the requirements. An outlet box, when used as the supporting element for a ceiling suspended fan, must be identified in a manner that will indicate its acceptable use as a fan support. Although the fan weight is limited to 70 pounds, any fan that weighs over 35 pounds must utilize an outlet box that is specifically marked to indicate the maximum weight it can support. Equipment clearance, location and clearances, sections 4203.1.5 and 4203.1.6. Receptacles shall be located not less than 6 feet measured horizontally from the inside walls of indoor spas and hot tubs. A minimum of 125 volt, 15 or 20 amp receptacle on a general purpose branch circuit shall be located between 6 feet and 10 feet from the inside walls of indoor spas or hot tubs. Receptacles rated 125 volts and 30 amps or less and located within 10 feet of the inside walls of a spa or hot tub installed indoors shall be protected by ground fault circuit interrupters. The requirements applicable to receptacles adjacent to indoor hot tubs and spas are not as restrictive as those for both indoor and outdoor swimming pools, as well as the outdoor hot tubs and spas. The limited space available in most indoor spa and hot tub areas make it impractical to apply the provisions mandated for outdoor facilities. But unless supported by a solid fence, wall, or permanent barrier, switching devices must be located at least 5 feet horizontally from the inside wall of pools, spas, and hot tubs. Equipment location clearances for luminaires and ceiling fans, sections E4203.4.1. In outdoor pool, outdoor spas, and outdoor hot tub areas, luminaires, lighting outlets, and ceiling suspended paddle fans shall not be installed over the pool or over the area extending 5 feet horizontally from the inside walls of a pool, except where no part of the luminaires or ceiling suspended paddle fan is less than 12 feet above the maximum water level. So the code mandates clearances for luminaires in connection with both outdoor and indoor swimming pools. Typically, the provisions for outdoor pools are consistent with those located indoors. However, a reduction in the luminaires or paddle fan height requirements to 7 feet 6 inches is permitted for indoor installations. To provide this reduced clearance, the luminaires must be of the totally enclosed type, and a GFCI must be installed in the branch circuit serving the fan or luminaires. Where an existing luminaire is located within 5 feet horizontally from the inside wall of a pool or outdoor spa or hot tub, it need only be located at least 5 feet above the maximum water level if the luminaire is securely attached to the existing support and GFCI protection is provided on the luminaire's branch circuit. Conductor clearances for swimming pools, section E4203.7. Except where installed with clearances specified in table E4203.7, the following parts of pools and outdoor spas and hot tubs shall not be placed under existing service drop conductors, overhead service conductor, or any other open overhead wiring, nor shall such wiring be installed above the following: pools and areas extending not less than 10 feet horizontally from the inside walls of the pool, diving structures and the areas extending not less than 10 feet horizontally from the outer edge of such structures, and observation stands, towers, and platforms, and the areas extending not less than 10 feet horizontally from the outer edge of such structures. When installing a new swimming pool, spa, or hot tub, it's important to take into account the position of any overhead service drop conductors or wiring. If the location of the pool, spa, or hot tub brings it within clearances required by the code, the conductors or wiring must be rerouted to bring the installation into compliance. A minimum 10-foot clearance is required for overhead communication conductors, coaxial cables, and their supports that are owned, operated, and maintained by a utility. The separation must be maintained to pools, diving boards, observation stands, and similar structures. All right, it is quiz time. Hopefully you have your 2021 IRC open to chapters 38 through 42. I will read the question, as in all of the other videos. I would like to read the question, have you paused the video, answer the question, look up the answers, and then come back to the video and verify your answers. Hopefully you get them all right. If not, that's the whole point of this, is to get you used to looking up answers. So, number 1. Electrical nonmetallic tubing is an allowable wiring method in all but which of the following applications? Electrical nonmetallic tubing is an allowable wiring method in all but which of the following applications? Feeders, branch circuits, embedded in masonry, or direct burial? The answer is D, direct burial. Find that in tables E3801.2 and E3801.4. Number 2. Unless installed parallel to framing members, NM wiring run in an attic accessed by a portable ladder shall be protected from damage where located within how close of the nearest edge of the attic entrance? Unless installed parallel to framing members, NM wiring, Romex, run in an attic accessed by a portable ladder shall be protected from damage where located within how far of the nearest edge of the attic entrance? Is it 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, or 10 feet? Our answer is A, within. It's got to be a minimum 6 feet away from the entrance to the attic, or it has to be protected from damage. Find that in section E3802.2.1. Number 3. Type NM wiring shall be supported a maximum of how far on center? 3 feet, 4.5 feet, 6 feet, or 12 feet? Our answer is B, every 4.5 feet, maximum of 4.5 feet on center. You're going to find that in table E3802.1. Number 4. In general, direct buried cable installed under parking lot shall have a minimum burial depth of how deep? 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, or 24 inches. Direct burial cable installed under a parking lot. The answer is D, minimum burial depth of 24 inches. Find that in table E3803.1. Number 5. Direct buried conductors and cables emerging from the ground shall be protected by enclosures or raceways extending to a minimum height of how far above a finished grade or the point of entrance to the building? Direct buried conductors and cables emerging from the ground shall be protected by enclosures or raceways extending to a minimum height of how high above finished grade or the point of entrance to the building? Is it 7 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, or 12 feet? That answer is B, minimum of 8 feet. Find that section E, 3803.3. Number 6. Receptacle outlets shall be installed so that all points along the floor line of any wall space are a maximum of how far from an outlet in that space when measured horizontally? So 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, or 12 feet? Our answer is B, 6 feet. You're going to find that in section 3901.2.1. Number 7. An unbroken wall space having a minimum width of how far shall be considered a wall space for the purpose of determining receptacle outlet distribution? Is that 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches, or 48 inches? Our answer is C, 24 inches. Section E, 3901.2.2, number 1. Number 8. Floor receptacle outlets cannot be counted as part of the required number of receptacle outlets unless located within how far of the wall? Is that within 4 inches, 6 inches, 12 inches, or 18 inches of the wall? Our answer is D, 18 inches. Find that in section E, 3901.2.3. Number 9. At a kitchen countertop receptacle outlet shall be installed with a maximum horizontal distance of how far from any point along the wall line to an outlet? Is it 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches, or 36 inches? Our answer is C, maximum horizontal distance of 24 inches from any point along the wall to an outlet. Find that in section E, 3901.4.1. Number 10. In a bathroom, at least one receptacle outlet shall be located a maximum of how far from the outside edge of each lavatory basin? Is that 18 inches, 24 inches, 30 inches, or 36 inches? Our answer is D, within a maximum of 36 inches from the outside edge of each lavatory basin. Find that section E, 3901.6. Number 11. A hallway, a minimum of how far in length, shall be provided with at least one receptacle outlet. Is that 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, or 12 feet? Our answer is C. Hallway, a minimum of 10 feet in length, shall be provided with one receptacle outlet. Find that in section E3901.10. Number 12. All 125 volt single phase 20 amp receptacles shall be provided with ground fault circuit interrupter protection where located within how close of the top inside edge of a bowl of a sink? Is that 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, or 6 feet? Answer is D, within 6 feet of the top inside edge of the bowl of the sink. Section E3902.7. Number 13. Where non-metallic sheath cable is used, the cable assembly including the sheath shall extend into the box a minimum of how far through a non-metallic sheath cable knockout opening? Is that a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, or 3/4 of an inch? Our answer is A, 1/4 of an inch. Find that in section E3905.3.1. Number 14. Electrical outlet boxes that do not enclose devices or utilization equipment shall have a minimum internal depth of how deep? 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch, 15/16 of an inch, or 1 inch? Answer is A, minimum internal depth of 1/2 inch. Find that section E3905.4.1. Number 15. What is the maximum number of number 12 AWG conductors permitted for a 4 inch by 1.5 inch standard round metal box not marked with a cubic inch capacity? The maximum number of number 12 conductors permitted for a 4 inch by 1.5 inch standard round metal box not marked with cubic inch capacity. Is it 4, 6, 9, or 10? Our answer is B. You're going to find that by looking at table E3905.12.1. Number 16. In a wall constructed of wood or other combustible material, outlet boxes shall be installed so that the front edge of the box is set back a maximum of how far from the finished surface? In a wall constructed of wood or other combustible material, outlet boxes shall be installed so that the front edge of the box is set back a maximum of how far from the finished surface? Is that 0 inches? The box must be flush or project outward. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or 1/2 an inch? Our answer is A, 0 inches. The box must be flush or project outward. Find that in section E3906.5. Number 17. All switches shall be installed so that the center of the grip of the operating handle in its highest position shall be located a maximum of how high above the floor or working platform? 6 feet 0 inches, 6 feet 6 inches, 6 feet 7 inches, or 6 feet 9 inches? Our answer is C, 6 feet 7 inches. Shall be located a maximum of 6 feet 7 inches above the floor or working platform. Find that in section E4001.6. Number 18. What is the required receptacle rating for a 20 amp branch circuit supplying 2 or more receptacles or outlets? What is the required receptacle rating for a 20 amp branch circuit supplying 2 or more receptacles or outlets? 15 amperes only, 20 amps only, 30 amps only, or 15 amps or 20 amps? Our answer is D, 15 or 20. Find that in table E4002.1.2. Number 19. Cord-connected luminaires, lighting track, and pendants shall be located a minimum of how far horizontally and how far vertically from the top of a bathtub rim or shower stall threshold. 2 feet 7 feet, 2 feet 8 feet, 3 feet 7 feet, or 3 feet 8 feet. The answer is D, 3 feet and 8 feet. Cord-connected luminaires, lighting track, and pendants shall be located a minimum of 3 feet horizontally and 8 feet vertically from the top of a bathtub rim or shower stall threshold. Find that in section E4003.11. Number 20. Where installed in a storage closet, a recessed fluorescent luminaire shall be located so as to provide a minimum clearance of how far between the fixture and the nearest point of storage space. In a storage closet, a recessed fluorescent luminaire. Is it 3 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, or 12 inches? Our answer is B, 6 inches. Find that in section E4003.12, number 4. Number 21. A luminaire that weighs more than how heavy or exceeds how large in any dimension shall not be supported by the screw shell of a lamp holder. Is it 4 pounds and 14 inches, 4 pounds and 16 inches, 6 pounds and 14 inches, or 6 pounds and 16 inches? Our answer is D. Luminaire that weighs more than 6 pounds or exceeds 16 inches in any dimension shall not be supported by the screw shell of a lamp holder. Find that in section E4004.4. Number 22. Ceiling suspended paddle fans weighing a maximum of how heavy are permitted to be supported by outlet boxes identified for such use. 25 pounds, 35 pounds, 42 pounds, 70 pounds. Our answer is D, 70 pounds. Ceiling suspended paddle fans weighing a maximum of 70 pounds are permitted to be supported by outlet boxes identified for such use. Find that in sections E4101.6 and E3905.8. Number 23. 125 volt receptacles located a minimum of how close from the inside walls of a swimming pool need to be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter. Is that within minimum 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, or 30 feet from the inside walls of the pool? The answer is C, 20 feet. 125 volt receptacles located a minimum of 20 feet from the inside walls of the swimming pool need not be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter. Has to be at least 20 feet away. Find that in section E4203.1.4. Number 24. At least one 120 volt receptacle shall be located a minimum of how far from the inside walls of indoor spas and hot tubs? Within 5 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet, or 12 feet? Our answer is B, 6 feet. At least one 125 volt receptacle shall be located a minimum of 6 feet from the inside walls of indoor spas and hot tubs. Find that in section E4203.1.5. Number 25. Receptacles shall be located a minimum of how many feet from the inside walls of a storable pool? Is that 5 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet, or 20 feet? Our answer is B, 6 feet. Find that in section E4207.4. Number 26. Where 3 or more conductors of minimum size, what AWG, are run at angles with joists in unfinished basements, Additional protection is not required if the cable assembly is attached directly to the bottom of the joist. Again, where 3 or more conductors of minimum size what are run at angles with joists and unfinished basements, additional protection is not required if the cable assembly is attached directly to the bottom of the joist. Is that minimum size 6, 8, 10, or 12? Our answer is B, minimum size 8 AWG run at angles with joists and unfinished basements. Find that in section E 3802.4. Number 27. Underground service conductors not encased in concrete and buried 18 inches or more below grade shall have their location identified by a warning ribbon placed a minimum of how many inches above the underground installation? Is it 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, or 12 inches? Our answer is D, 12 inches above the underground installation. Find that in section E 3803.2. Number 28. The receptacle outlet required in a bathroom were located on the side of the basin cabinet shall be located a maximum of how many inches below the top of the basin or basin countertop? 8, 12, 15, or 18? Our answer is B. Must be located a maximum of 12 inches below the top of the basin or countertop. Find that in section E 3901.6. 29. Wall-mounted luminaires wearing a maximum of how many pounds are permitted to be supported on boxes other than those specifically designed for luminaires, provided the luminaires are secured to the box with at least 2 number 6 or larger screws. Is it 6 pounds, 10 pounds, 14 pounds, or 18 pounds? Our answer is A. A maximum of 6 pounds can be supported on boxes other than those specifically designed for luminaires, as long as they're wall mounted. Find that in section E 3905.6.1, the exception. Number 30. Lighting track shall be located a minimum of how high above the finished floor unless protected from physical damage or the track operates at less than 30 volts RMS open circuit voltage. Minimum of 5 feet 0 inches, 6 feet 0 inches, 6 feet 4 inches, or 6 feet 8 inches. Our answer is A, a minimum of 5 feet above the finished floor unless protected from physical damage. Find that in section E 4005.4, number 8. Number 31. A receptacle outlet installed to serve a washing machine shall be installed a maximum of how many feet from the intended location of the washing machine? 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, or 6 feet? The answer is D. Receptacle outlet installed to serve a washing machine shall be installed a maximum of 6 feet from the intended location of the washing machine. Section E 3901.5. Number 32. For other than evaporative coolers, a receptacle outlet shall be installed for the servicing of HVAC equipment a maximum of how many feet from such equipment? Is that 20 feet, 25 feet, 40 feet, or 50 feet? For other than evaporative coolers, a receptacle outlet shall be installed for the servicing of HVAC equipment a maximum of how many feet from such equipment? Our answer is B, maximum of 25 feet. And that's section E 3901.12. Number 33. Unless the outlet box is identified and marked to indicate the maximum weight permitted to be supported, An outlet box in a wall may support a luminaire having a maximum weight of how many pounds? Unless the outlet box is identified and marked to indicate the maximum weight permitted to be supported, an outlet box in a wall may support a luminaire having a maximum weight of how many pounds? 28, 35, 50, or 70? Our answer is C, 50 pounds. We're going to find that in section E, 3905.6.1. Number 34. Non-combustible surfaces that are broken or incomplete shall be repaired so that gaps or open spaces at the edge of the panel board employing a flush type cover are a maximum of how many inch in size? Is that 0, no gaps permitted, 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch? Our answer is C, 1/8 of an inch. You're going to find that in E3907.4. Number 35. A flexible cord for a cord and plug connected range hood shall have a minimum length of how many inches and a maximum length of how many inches? Flexible cord for a cord and plug connected range hood. Minimum 18, max 30, minimum 18 or 36, minimum 18, max 48, minimum 30, max 36, or minimum 36, max 48. And our answer is B. Flexible cord for a cord and plug connected range hood shall have a minimum length of 18 inches and a maximum length of 48 inches. You'll find that in table E4101.3. All right, that brings us to the end of study session 18. I want to thank you for hanging with me. I hope you got a lot out of this study session and you're able to locate all the answers. Until next time, I'm Dave Kilgore. Thank you.